no, no. No, 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 no.
Hey y'all, this is the Pleasure and Peace Practice, and I'm your host, Tia, your Pleasure and Peace practitioner. For those of you who may be new here, welcome. This is a space where your pleasure is not optional and your peace is sacred. Each episode, we explore things that are real, raw, and I hope restorative. Through honest conversation, evidence-based practice, and an abundance of permission, I encourage you to feel good. Whether you're here to reconnect with your body, unlearn harmful shame, or just take a breath, you belong here. Welcome in. Hello, everyone. We are now in week 2 of the month of Samhain, a time for a deeper connection to the unseen, a time when the veil between worlds thins and intention carries more weight. Last week, we talked about what magic really is, how so many of us already practice it every day without even realizing it. We focused on the science and spirit of intention, not fantasy or spells, but how energy and awareness shape reality. Today, we're moving deeper into the realm of desire, embodiment, and power. We're talking about sex magic, what it is, what it is not, and how pleasure can become your most powerful spell. So, what if I told you that every time you feel desire, sexual or otherwise, you are tapping into a sacred source of power within yourself? You might recognize it as that deep pull in your belly, that ache for more, that spark of inspiration or craving for connection. Desire is a doorway, and when we walk through it consciously, it becomes creation. Before we go any further, take a breath. Unclench your jaw, relax your eyebrows, feel your shoulders drop. Now, see if you can find where desire lives in your body right now. Maybe it's warmth in your chest, a flutter in your stomach, or a tingling under your skin. This episode is about learning to work with that energy because pleasure itself can be a form of spell work, a living manifestation. Let's start with our philosophy for today. Desire is a creative life force. You might have heard it called chi, prana, or Shakti energy, that animating force that births ideas, art, and life itself. Many of us have been conditioned to think of desire only as lust or temptation. But that's such a narrow lens. Desire is not just the birthplace of orgasm. It's the birthplace of possibility. Across cultures, this energy has been seen as sacred. In Tantra, it's Shakti, the creative feminine principle. In African diasporic traditions, erotic energy is tied to fertility, joy, and divine union. And in goddess traditions, figures like Oshun and Aphrodite embody love and beauty, creativity, and abundance. When we repress or shame our desire, we disconnect from our own divine spark. Desire fuels imagination, and we can only be as bold, beautiful, and alive as we allow ourselves to imagine. So, where does sex magic fit into this? At its core, sex magic is the intentional use of sexual energy, your life force, for manifestation, healing, or spiritual connection. It's not about manipulation, and it's not about control. It's also not only about physical acts of sex. Sex magic is energy work through the body. It can look like touch, dance, breath, visualization, movement. It's about weaving intention into sensation, turning your pleasure into prayer. Let's talk about a simple framework to understand this. I like to call it 3 pillars: sex magic: clarity, transmutation, and embodiment. First, clarity through arousal. Arousal, whether sexual, emotional, or creative, opens the body and sharpens the mind. In that heightened state, your awareness expands. You become present. So next time you're aroused, especially sexually, notice your focus. Notice how alive you feel. That's clarity. That is your energy rising. Second, transmutation through intention. Sexual energy is powerful. It's the alchemy of desire. Through breath, touch, or visualization, you can redirect that energy toward your goals, healing, or creativity. This is not about abstinence or denial. It's about conscious redirection. When you feel pleasure building, you might imagine that energy rising up your spine, expanding through your chest, or radiating from your heart. Energy follows intention. Third, embodiment through manifestation. This is the magic moment. Not wishing, but becoming. Manifestation happens when we embody what we desire before it arrives. Pleasure teaches our bodies what that feels like. When you experience joy, ecstasy, or deep satisfaction, your nervous system learns that this state is possible and it starts to seek it again. That's embodiment. Now, an important note: when we work with desire, shame, grief, even trauma can surface. That's not failure, that's part of the process. Sex magic is not about bypassing your pain, it's about meeting it with presence. If intense emotions arise, take a step back, breathe, ground, and when needed, work with a qualified therapist, especially if old wounds resurface. Somatic therapies like EMDR can help clear blocks that make it hard to feel or sustain pleasure. True pleasure is not the absence of pain. It's the evidence of healing. And one more thing, consent is non negotiable. Always, whether with yourself, a partner, or the universe. Energy work rooted in fear or coercion cannot create freedom. Now that you understand the philosophy, let's talk about how to bring this into everyday life. No altars or candles required, just intention. All right, so one thing you might try, pleasure journaling. Write about moments when you felt most alive. Ask yourself, what was I feeling? What was I creating? This is how you identify your personal spell, the energy you want to call in. Second, pleasure visualization. Each morning, before getting out of bed, take a few deep breaths. Ask yourself, what would feel good today? Visualize that feeling in your body. Let your breath feed it. This is sex magic in motion, intention infused with sensation. Finally, what I love to call joyful movement. Stretch, dance, walk barefoot. Give yourself a self massage. Let the movement carry your intention through your body. Pleasure is how you teach your energy to flow. And if you want to deepen this practice, you can expand into solo ritual, self pleasure as sacred connection. Approach your body as a temple. Touch yourself with reverence, curiosity, and presence. Ask, what do I want to release? What do I want to create? As you reach your peak, imagine your desire blooming outward, radiant and alive. Remind yourself, my self pleasure is not selfish. It's self worship. If you're exploring sex magic with a partner or partners, remember it's about co creation, not control. Start by cleansing your space, syncing your breath, and setting a shared intention like healing, intimacy, or abundance. Let your arousal build naturally through touch or movement. And when you reach your emotional or physical peaks, visualize your shared energy expanding together. Then rest, hold each other, ground, hydrate, nourish. The magic is not in the climax. The magic is in the connection. This week, I want you to approach each act of joy as a living spell. Your actions are your practice. Your pleasure is your prayer. Here is your affirmation. My desire is divine. My body is my altar. Some might say that living in devotion to what feels good is indulgent. I would say it's divine discipline. When you live in devotion to what feels good, you feed your imagination. You practice creation itself. Whether it feels good to pray, to dance, to bake, or to walk barefoot under the moon. If it brings you peace and harms no one, that is magic. This is the heart of sex magic. Pleasure as power, desire as devotion, your body as a living spirit. Thank you for being here, for listening, for getting curious with me. Whether it's a question, a story, or a truth, still finding words, this space is for you. Whatever it is, you don't have to hold it alone. Ask, share, confess. We're in this together. And if you've got something on your heart, drop it anonymously using the link in the show notes or over on Instagram. If this episode moved you, helped you, or made you feel seen, share it with a friend, leave a rating, or drop a comment. Your support helps this space grow. Follow me on Instagram and Threads at Pleasure and Peace with Tia for more. Until next time, remember, I've got you and you've got this. Talk to y'all soon.